Friends, it's T-Man. I'm back with a new video, but it's Bryan Johnson, the anti-aging slave himself. Yes, man, the fake anti-aging slave. Anyways, gonna do a reaction video to Bryan Johnson's video. Bryan Johnson says, "I tried to make my face younger." Okay. He's also a recruiting anti-aging slave. So he's an anti-aging slave and recruiting other people as anti-aging slaves to his program. Yes, that's what I would call him. He's kind of like the influencer of anti-aging, fake anti-aging, I'd call it. Look at these facial shots, man. This is incredible. Look at him. I don't know what happened here. He got in a reaction. How could this be anti-aging if you're doing something artificial to your face to pretend you look young? You have to become young from the inside out, not from the outside. But okay, yeah, I mean that's a false sense of youngness. You're doing something temporary. But okay, that's why he had this facial distortion here. All right.
This is me 1 year ago. This is me 4 months ago.
He looks extremely pale. That's number one. The first thing I see here is he is extremely pale. He definitely needs to go out in the sun. Now, if you don't want to get burned, I suggest you eat animal products, especially a lot of cholesterol, high animal cholesterol. You need a lot of cholesterol. Let's just say animal fat, cholesterol, whatever. And that'll protect your skin from getting burned. But if you eat these plants like he does, because he does eat plants, they're toxic and they will cause skin damage if you go out in the sun. That's probably the reason why he doesn't go in the sun. You know that? All right.
And here I am today. What happened? You know, I used to get a lot.
I don't know why people think that being pale has something to do with youth or something, but okay, whatever. They think that the sun will damage you or give you cancer. Like Bryan Johnson, he brings out these fake beliefs. It's because you're breaking the laws of nature, eating a fake diet. It's kind of obvious. Hello.
A lot of hate. Ugly. And people were suggesting, I was one step away from death. That caused a lot of reflection. And then I was like, off.
Yeah. Well, they thought you were one step away from death. Fake anti-aging. He's upset.
Okay, so how did we get here? If you remember, when I started this project, we were trying to evaluate how close we are to being able to stop death. And the way we did that
looks like a Neanderthal there.
Is we looked at all the scientific evidence on what you could do to slow down and reverse aging damage.
He's one of the kookiest millionaires, but again, people are stupid. They'll believe anything you tell them and sell them anything, any belief, any fake belief that is not of nature. He's not really using nature to regenerate. He doesn't know how to. So he's trying to do it in the man's world, which is fake. Because when men do something, it always ends up in disaster. That's why we're riddled with, people are suffering. They're riddled with pain, disease, and death. Yes, and their teeth are rotting because they can't stop breaking the laws of nature. They think they can override it somehow, and you can't. And so you will pay the price for breaking the laws of nature, like him. He's breaking the laws of nature with his face, doing something artificial, and look what happened to his face.
And one of these therapies is known as caloric restriction, which means if a person
Think about it. One of these therapies are starvation. How can starvation be good for you? See what I mean? How many carnivore animals do you see out there? 75% out there are carnivore animals. How many out there do you see that want to starve themselves? Now, they don't eat often because they eat raw meat, so they get all the nutrients that they need. They're not going to be constantly hungry. If they're eating something artificial, then they're going to have to eat every day. If your dog is eating every single day, you're feeding him, these puppy chow pellets? Well, what did you expect? They feed dogs twice a day. They're not really meant to eat every single day or twice a day. And so the more you eat, which is deficient in these nutrients, the more the more your body becomes stressed. That's why I try to tell them at the buffet, I try to eat less meat because I don't want it overcooked. They were overcooking it. And so I tell them, please just cook it for half a second on each side. Just, that's about it. Give it to me raw so I can eat it raw so I don't have to consume more protein. And because there's less nutrients inside the protein. There's less. the water soluble vitamins and things they've been destroyed by cooking it. It's basically when you cook things, you're just destroying it. So what's the point? That's why I started shifting. At least at the buffet, I could eat a lot of raw sushi, a lot of raw fish. So I shifted. I started eating a lot more raw fish, and I found that it was very hard to down a lot of raw sushi because it's very nutrient dense. Yeah, yeah.
He consumes 2,500 calories a day. To maintain the same weight, you'd reduce that. And so my caloric intake was 1,950 calories, substantially less. This caused me to lose a.
Yeah, but what type of calories are these? This isn't a high nutrient diet. What you need are nutrients. And so you need to eat raw food, like out in nature. But he doesn't do anything with the laws of nature. He breaks the laws of nature. He eats plants that are toxic, chocolate. He eats a lot of man-made food. He eats pills, man-made pills. Everything he does here is artificial. He does these weird exercises which have nothing to do with hunting. That's why, think about it. We have a very good rotation in our hips and our waist area, the hip to waist ratio. Our rotation is very good at our arm for throwing a spear. We're built for hunting, and he doesn't do any of these things. You know, they're natural movements in nature. What you would be doing. That's why you're built that way. But he's so domesticated at this point. No saving him.
A lot of fat, including in my face. So people started comparing me to Tilda Swinton. Now, this was about 2 years into the project, and we were pretty ecstatic. The biomarkers we had achieved in me were pretty
He compared himself to her. Okay, isn't she old now?
stunning. Remember, I was 43 years old when I started. I had led a life like poor health habits as a kid, 20 years of running myself into the ground as an entrepreneur, 10 years of chronic depression. I was in a really bad state of health, and in just 2 years' time, we turned it all around. My biomarkers.
Okay, so basically everything that he does for this to try to fool you that he's reverse aging is cosmetic. He's lowering his body fat, right? Like, you know, young people, they have a very low body fat. Well, you could get that on your natural, as a carnivore, in your natural diet. You would get that if you eat raw meat and raw sushi and raw food and raw milk. You get that automatically. Your body would go back to homeostasis. It's out of homeostasis because you're eating artificial foods like carbohydrates, these drugs all day. So number one, he's eating plants, they're toxic, whatever. He does it the opposite. Instead of eating his natural diet, he goes on these foods and pills, these toxic foods and pills. Low caloric diet, he reduced the body fat. Okay, whatever. Then the rest he does is cosmetic. He's pushing this, he has a gym, personal gym in his home. He's going to a gym every day. He has an ab machine that does his abs for him. Okay, to reduce more of this fat, to give a particular youthful, I guess. People correlate that with youth. When you're fat, they don't correlate that with being youthful. They correlate low body fat with being youthful and looking sexy and looking nice, whatever. Okay. And he's doing like all these needling things to his face. He's using like puncture needling, I don't know, a bunch of facial things he does here. It's ridiculous. So it's really artificial. It's cosmetic.
Were fantastic. We were excited. But when I went out in public, people were like, wait, is this guy going to die? So there was a big disconnect between the success we were feeling as a team and the perception. It turns out that facial fat is really important to how someone gauges someone else's youthfulness. The problem was, no matter how good my biomarkers were.
Well, you need some facial fat in your face, definitely, but he looks like he's dying because these vegan people, they die. He's on a vegan diet. So you look how they look. Your eyes do not deceive you. They look sick. You get it? It's kind of obvious, right? Yeah, and then you look at people on carnivore diet, or carnivores eating their carnivore diet, whatever. They look so much healthier and better. They would look even better if they would eat it raw. A good majority do.
They would look at my face and say, that guy's old. So in response, we said, we're going to do Project Babyface. We know.
See, that guy looks old. Well, I thought his whole program was to anti-age, to look young, right? I know. Facial project. So he's got to do a cosmetic change to his face. All right.
Both that in our youth, we have a lot of facial fat.
Here's another thing. Isn't he on TRT? He's taking injections of testosterone and I think maybe even growth hormone. So all of these things he's doing are really, they're all artificial. They're all man stuff. He's never going to anti-age. He's going to die young doing this stuff. Believe me, it's going to be the opposite.
That over time, it lessens. In fact, in your 20s, you start losing 1% of your collagen every year. So by the time you're 80 years old, you've lost 75% of what you had in your early 20s.
Okay, if you're losing 1% of collagen every year, like they say, which I really doubt, that's not really why. I think it's mostly because your diet, you're breaking the laws of nature, eating an artificial toxic diet to please plants, which is causing that. But if you need to ramp it up, you can make these collagen bone broths. That can definitely help. I can't say it won't help. They found that there were other minerals in there that can't be found in your natural diet if you were eating everything raw, because it's being extracted, I guess, from the bones by cooking it. So yeah, that's what they discovered. I can't say for sure. I don't know. All right, I can't verify that.
We wondered, could I rejuvenate my face so I had much more volume? Endless fun. I love every second of it. Now that is a hard problem. You probably are aware that people use things like fillers to compensate for the loss of volume. It's why a face can look plump and round, but it's just filler. It's just masking the problem. We wanted to figure out if we could use legitimate rejuvenation technologies to restore volume in my face. There are 5 things I did to restore volume in my face. The first thing I did is Sculptra, which is a biostimulator. It's injected into certain regions of the face. For example, the temples, right around the mouth, through here. It's designed to allow your body to naturally produce collagen. So instead of putting filler in the face, which is...
Yeah, they kind of damage your face with something, so it causes the fibroblast cells to come out and kind of regenerates your face. Your own stem cells can regenerate your face. That's why people do microneedling, right? That seems to be one of the best.
Expands in volume, you're getting actual collagen production. My protocol has been doing 2 vials every 6 months. I think the company recommends 1 per year, so I've exceeded what...
Again, this is artificial. Everything he's doing here is artificial. He's not using the tools of nature to reverse aging. And I've mentioned this before on my channel. There are ways to reverse aging by using the tools in nature. But okay.
They're recommending. Also, I was compensating from a place of pretty serious deficit, not starting as a maintenance mode of 1 vial per year at, say, age 28, and going through time. I didn't do any until I was age 46, and I'd lost a lot of weight. So I've been trying to play a little catch up, but Sculptra is first. Next is I tried Renuva, which is fat transfer. Now, ideally, you want to use your own fat. The problem was I didn't have enough fat on my body to do a transfer. And the doctor was concerned that if we tried to extract any fat I had, I would leave an indentation on my body. And so I used a donor's fat. When I did this, I had an extreme allergic reaction. In fact,
no kidding, he used a donor's fat. That is gross, man. Of course you're going to get an allergic reaction. It's not your own fat.
First day I did it, I met up with a reporter to do a story for Bloomberg, and on my way home, I blew up. Like I couldn't even see out of my eyes. I called him, I said, just a heads up, I'm gonna show up. It's me, you may not recognize it, but don't be scared. Because of the allergic reaction, we discontinued it. Now, sadly, it was a promising technology. We were excited about it, and we thought it might be a really good path to revolumize, but because I reacted so profoundly, we just couldn't continue it. So that stopped after 1 therapy. Next is we decided to increase my daily caloric intake, going from 1,950 to 2,000.
And notice what he's eating here. For a carnivore, this is complete poison. So how can something that's toxic and poisonous, like this broccoli and cauliflower, these are flowers in this mushroom, which is like an antibiotic. Sulforaphane and this stuff, it's gross. I don't even know what this thing is here. I don't know if these are beans or something. Man, this is just extremely toxic for a human to eat as a carnivore. It's ridiculous. It's going to destroy you. Can't be anti-aging for sure. Can't be anti-nutrient.
250. And we were probing, can we increase my calories while also maintaining the same biomarkers and also putting on more fat.
You know, people wonder. Here's the thing: people wonder why their cholesterol is elevated. So they correlate. They eat these plants; they're toxic. We know now. We know that cholesterol actually protects you. It has healing properties. Cholesterol works as a what do you call it? As a protective agent in your body. Okay, and so when people correlate, they say, "Hey, I have," they do these tests that they have high cholesterol. They come in, so they want to reduce their cholesterol. The reason why your cholesterol is so high is because it's trying to fix these problems in your body. That's why it's raised so high. And then they're going to say, well, you're going to get all these problems like cardiovascular disease and a bunch of things from having high cholesterol. You're going to die from having a high cholesterol, having a heart attack or something, which is bullshit. It's trying to fix you because you're eating toxic food, so that elevates it. It's like this. It's the same. It's the same everywhere. So you eat a bunch of sugar, all right? These these diabetics, they become insulin resistant, so their insulin is sky high, right? Okay. So what happens? Eventually, you become a diabetic. What does that mean? It means that the T cells come around, they kill the B cells from producing in the pancreas, and it stops producing insulin. Your body stops producing insulin because it wants to stop you from eating the sugar because it can no longer protect you. So that's the same correlation. The insulin goes sky high. It's trying to protect you by removing the sugar from your arteries, and it can no longer do that. And so people go to the doctor and they go, "You have high cholesterol." Yeah, because cholesterol is a protective agent in your body. You understand me? It protects you. It protects everything. That's what it does. That's its job. Anyway, next.
And it worked. I gained 15 pounds, just under 7 kilograms, and that helped revolumize my face. I'll also note that my life substantially improved with a few more calories. At 1950, you're in a pretty serious deficit. You're hungry all the time. It's kind of painful, but I signed up for this, and I was...
Sorry, I meant to say before, antioxidant. So cholesterol is an extremely powerful antioxidant, probably one of the most powerful antioxidants. They can actually fix your heart. They'll fix your heart, your kidneys, your liver. It'll fix your organs. That's what it does. It'll do a bunch of stuff. It has very high protective effects, okay? It works much like an antioxidant, but unlike plants, the plant antioxidants, they don't work in humans, man. Science is already I don't know what kind of science he's reading, but science already tells you all these things about these plants, that they're toxic, what fructose does to you, DNA damage, brain damage. Man, these fruits and vegetables and everything, they just destroy you. Everybody knows now in science, they've done tests on it. Cholesterol fixes you. You know what I mean? But the correlation between you having sky-high cholesterol is because you're eating toxic food, and it's trying to protect you now, just like the insulin going sky high. What's causing it? The toxic food. What's causing the insulin to go sky high? The toxic sugar you're eating. There you go.
Willing to do anything in order to achieve the objective. 1950, it turns out, it was not necessary, as far as we can tell, to achieve the same level of biomarkers. So this is a good example of the experiment we're doing, where if caloric restriction is a promising idea and it's still emergent, then we're trying this out and we're measuring a bunch of biomarkers. If it doesn't need to be 20%.
I know, and even science tells you about chelation, how to remove these oxalates from your system, from these toxic plants. But why take the chance? I have one guy who's like, yeah, but we neutralize it, we cook it and this and that. But why would you even take the chance cooking it? I don't get it. It's still toxic, though. What's the point? Do you need it? No.
Then we can move to 10. If it doesn't need to be...
Again, he's using exercise as an artificial means, as a cosmetic look. Look, exercise can be regenerative if you know how to use it, but it can only happen very periodically. Now, he's using it often, so what is he trying to do? Nothing. He's not anti-aging. He's aging. He's inflammaging. He's causing inflammation, which is contributing to more aging. Inflammaging by exercising consistently. He's definitely a low-caloric diet. That causes more stress on your body. Low-caloric, you're trying to burn body fat. At the same time, these foods also cause inflammation to the cells in your body, which also attributes to shortgevity. It doesn't attribute to longevity at all whatsoever, man. These pills, the fake diet, the things that he's doing, nah.
10, we can move to 0. It's still very early in the days of anti-aging, and so these kinds of experiments, I think.
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe I should do my own anti-aging protocol. I'm actually working on it now. But we'll find out. We'll see how it goes. I'm not that far into it like he's into his program. But my program, what I'm doing is of nature. It's not a program. I don't have to pay for it. It's not expensive. It's something you could do periodically, and the outcome will be definitely 100 times better. Yeah.
Are at least interesting as a data point on how we think about the therapies and what impact they can have on our lifespans and health spans. Next is I lessened my intake of lutein, which is a carotenoid, from 20
Which doesn't exist in nature. It's fabricated. It's artificial, which is going to cause problems in your cells, your body.
milligrams to 15. And so I did that because it was making my skin yellow. And I think this is why so many people were confused. They saw me, I looked
Think about it. It was making his skin yellow. Jesus, look how white he is. This is crazy.
gaunt, I was yellow, and they're trying to
Why is it doing that? Because it's trying to defend itself, your body, from whatever toxins you're consuming that are inside this pill.
make sense. Is this really what a healthy person looks like? And so a lot of people
What does a healthy person look like?
were thinking I had liver failure that I didn't know about, but it was simply because I had too much carotenoids in my diet, and of course that I was on too much caloric restriction. Finally, I did under eye PRF, and that is when you do a blood draw and you separate the red blood cells from the plasma, and then you put the plasma back in the body. And this is what I did for my sprained ankle. It's what you can do for hair
That's really crazy. Okay.
growth, which I don't do anymore. You can also do for under eye. And so over time, you lose volume under your eye, and there's only really
You notice that these rich people, when they get these diseases, they don't live very long because the industry, they just practice on them, basically, all these things that they have available out there. They practice these things on them and then they die. They never really cure them, and they don't live long either. These rich people, they die. They're like, look at what's his name, the guy who run Apple, Steve Jobs. He had cancer. All he had to do was eat his natural diet and water. Cancer would have went away. But he kept eating these toxic plants, and then, well, he forgot the chemotherapy at some point, right? He's like, forget the chemotherapy. Well, definitely he would have died from the chemotherapy anyways, because that's man's bullshit stuff. That's why you die doing these things. And so he went home and he's like, I'm going to go on a vegan diet and that's going to fix me. Well, the vegan diet is what caused him to die even faster. Man, when you break the laws of nature, that's what happens. These rich people, this whole anti-aging program that Bryan Johnson is presenting to people, like I said, it's just cosmetic. It's fake. It's cosmetic. It's not anti-aging whatsoever.
two ways to revolumize. One is with filler, the other is this under eye PRF. The problem with filler is it can migrate and it become a nightmare. So I would strongly recommend you do not do filler under eye. It can be very complicated. Under eye PRF is helpful because it helps revolumize the lost volume. Also,
Again, it revolumizes. It's cosmetic, and it most likely is toxic. You're injecting these toxic plant fillers in your face.
only lasts for like 3 to 6 months. So it needs to be something you repeat on a continued basis, but does in fact work and revolumize what you see disappear over time with age.
Here's another thing. The fact that he's doing these things and exercise, every time these stem cells have to come out of quiescence, they're exposed to this toxic environment. Yeah. See what I mean? You don't want to constantly expose them to a toxic environment. That's what's going to inflammate you. It's going to age you, accelerated aging.
And I do under eye PRF 3 times per year right now. The past few years has been wild. When I started Blueprint, I did not expect it to be a global phenomena. I did not expect to be scrutinized by everyone in the world.
Yes, neither did I. It went global. They're just laughing at you, really. They're really just laughing at Bryan Johnson, people out there. Even the rich people aren't that stupid.
I did not expect to be compared to the most aesthetically pleasing, beautiful people.
He is being compared to the most aesthetically pleasing people? What? They didn't do anything artificial, as far as I know. With the pictures that you're showing here, maybe later in their life they're gonna start doing something because they're aging. They're actors, but come on, man, they wear makeup, bro. These are actors. They wear makeup. They do all kinds of artificial things to their faces. So he's like, I'm gonna compare myself to these other fake people that are doing fake things to their faces, bro. This is just crazy. Oh, brother.
In the world, people who have been on top of their aesthetic game their entire life. Growing up in a
Oh, they're falling apart. They're complaining about it. They're getting older. They have to do all kinds of stuff.
small community, no one really cared about aesthetics. You're just expected as you age.
Nobody cared about aesthetics because they thought that was normal to look ugly. It's because you're eating an artificial diet, breaking the laws of nature, and it's being passed on to your kids. Your facial features are destroyed. Look at the animal kingdom. All these animals out there, they all look handsome. They all look the same. They all look handsome and pretty. When then you look at the human race, the human animals, what do they look like? They all look weird. Their facial features are distorted. They're fucked up. They look ugly. Yeah, it's crazy.
Age to get fat, go bald. So I didn't apply
Yeah, fat and bald is not natural in nature.
face cream, for example, ever in my entire life until I was in my early 40s. I never played the
Why would you put facial cream on your face? If you eat your natural diet, your face, you don't need any of that stuff. It'll do it for you automatically. You look amazing. Here's another thing. If you're washing your skin every day with these detergents, detergents I call them, you're washing your face every single day. You're washing off the good bacterias. Yeah. That make your face youthful. That's another thing I realized too, because we just are doing things that are so unnatural. We're bathing in chemicals. For their tap water is filled with chemicals. I have to filter everything, and even then I don't even know if I'm truly protected. But yeah, it's abnormal to bathe in water every day. Some people do it twice a day. They take a shower or they take a bath or whatever. That your skin absorbs a lot of water. You'd be surprised, man. This is crazy.
aesthetics game. And it only, of course, became relevant when I started this endeavor and aesthetics became a meaningful part. It's been a complicated one because
You can start by going back on your natural diet. You can start by taking breaks from showering. So when I was younger, I just felt like something was wrong, and I wouldn't shower for a whole week. I would see how long I could go. I would go for a whole week without taking a bath or a shower. I was in grade school, of course. I was in grade school. I go to school. I wouldn't take a shower or a bath for like a week. And then, eventually I was like, okay, it's time to take a bath or a shower now. And I would take a bath or a shower. I noticed my hair was a lot more healthier because the natural oils, my hair was really nice. I didn't smell or stink or anything because I really tried not to eat a good majority of these plant foods, which my parents were trying to feed us all the time. Anytime there was meat, I would eat meat. And I wouldn't eat that much. That's the thing. Here's another thing. When I was younger, going to grade school, I wouldn't eat that much. And so if I didn't want to eat that, I was stubborn. I didn't want to eat. And when I did eat, it was usually just meat, eggs, poultry, whatever, these animal products. That's all I would try to eat all the time. So yeah, I try to get away from like any plants. Didn't want to eat them. Never cared for salads or anything.
I've been trying to, of course, demonstrate something that's never been done before. And so it's hard, of course.
Maybe that's the reason why all my teeth are mostly all intact. I didn't have a dentist couldn't believe that. I know children, all their teeth are drilled, all of them, all their molars, they're all drilled. I don't have my molars drilled. And so the dentists, they're like, what? And here's another thing. I was a really stubborn kid. I would not brush my teeth. I would not brush my teeth at all. Maybe that's another reason why my teeth are good. And then I realized the reason why they put fluoride, they give you this aggregate made from cement, and they put fluoride in your toothpaste. because every time you use the toothpaste, because your teeth have these pores, they're sensitive, and you're brushing it, you're wearing down the enamel. That makes it weaker. And the fluoride, it's a chemical. It actually causes the decay in your teeth. Yeah. So if you want to regenerate your teeth, keep eating whatever you're eating. I don't know what you're eating there. Don't do a lot of sugar. Because acid, they create acids, these sugars, and these other plant foods like fruits and vegetables, they cause acid buildup, that too weakens your teeth. But if you have a reduction in it, you mostly eat more animal products than you would eat these plant products, even if you do want to keep eating these plant products, which I suggest you do not. But you could use, to clean your mouth, you could use baking soda. Yeah, a brush and baking soda. That's it. So it's less abrasive, it's less taxing on your teeth, and your teeth have a chance to regenerate. They will regenerate. Your teeth will regenerate, believe it or not.
For people to understand context. I do think we are at this meaningful moment in time where we are evolving as a species into something else. And I'm trying to indicate like this is a promising path.
We're evolving into something else. We're not evolving. We've never evolved. We are the same species. This animal, this body, us human animals are the same over time. We've not changed.
For us to pursue.
The only thing we changed is breaking the laws of nature in this artificial environment that we created to live in.
And so sometimes I do feel saddened that the project is by itself evaluated solely on face fat or some other aesthetic component and not upon these comprehensive biomarkers we have. But you know what? This movement needs to succeed. And to do that, there are...
It won't. It'll succeed by failing, but it won't succeed. Yeah, it'll succeed by brainwashing and probably draining people's accounts for no reason, but it will not succeed in longevity. It may succeed in giving him this cosmetic, youthful look, but it will not succeed in longevity. I will guarantee you watch this video years from now, Bryan Johnson's going to die, and he's probably going to die young. I don't know. Probably the same time his father dies.
Are some criteria?
Maybe sooner because of the stuff he's doing to himself, which is causing himself to age.
Including volume in a face that need to be met. I understand. I mean, the objective was, can I be biologically similar to my 18-year-old in every way, shape, or form? Now that sounds...
Yeah, can I be? Let me reduce my body fat. Let me do exercising and let me eat these plants, low-caloric diet, and do a bunch of facial things to my face and whatever. Yeah, a total cosmetic overhaul. Yes, okay. It's anti-aging.
Inconceivable today, but with enough time, is it? That is a question I think worth asking. As we head into the future, many of our preconceived notions...
So here's the thing. You can't visualize, you can't adjust for what the problems would be. Let's say I ate a vegan diet, and then I look in the mirror, I see myself, my body, it's changing, my facial features start drooping and everything. I start getting really sick. Well, it's visual, you could see it. So let's say I go on a natural diet, but I need to visually see the changes. See, I have to constantly look to see the visual changes, what I'm going to do. Let's say I just go for a whole month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months on a pure sushi diet. Let's say I'm experimenting constantly. Go pure sushi diet. What will I look like? What will be the outcome? Well, I can't find out if I'm doing something cosmetic to my face like Bryan Johnson and doing all these weird things cosmetically to myself. Of course not. How am I going to know? How am I going to know? You know what I mean? Jesus.
Notions may be challenged by things that come to pass. And when they do, I think it's going to be best for all of us to say, you know what? I have an idea about reality, but I'm wide open to thinking differently. And I think...
Yes, reality. Reality. Man.
Aging and health and wellness is going to be one of those things. So it's a reminder to me to always check us.
Aging and health. This isn't healthy what he's doing, and he's aging.
Assumptions, check my beliefs, because something may be hiding that may...
Again, beliefs. I love this. Humans have a tendency to use this word beliefs. I'm not running on belief. I'm running on fact. Fact, not beliefs. See, he believes in artificial diet, doing these artificial things, eating these artificial foods, whatever he's doing there, and doing these artificial things to his face. is anti-aging, when in fact, it is absolutely not a zero.
Really be in my best interest if I could just see it. Be well. If you want to see how my body
It's in my best interest to see it. Yes, he's in such a hurry. He wanted to see it so fast. Like I said, anti-aging is from the inside out. It's not from the outside.
has changed throughout my life, check out this video here.
Yeah, those faces, it looks really scary there, bro. I try to make my body younger. Well, there you go. You try to make it younger with what? Exercise. Exercise doesn't make your body younger. That's just ridiculous. It ages it. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Yeah, don't die. But guess what? You're going to die. And doing these things are going to accelerate it. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends.